on Little Tuesday here on Spotlight, talking about the NBA. So in the NBA, the word that I couldn't say before and I just butchered it, parity. It is maybe
there we go.
One of the words we use the most when it comes to sports, and talk about just how, competition runs amok, if you will. I just tried to make up another word called competitiousness or competitiveness. Taking a look at past 7 NBA champions. Look, they're all different. Very well could see that again. So let's welcome in 2 of our experts here. Tim Doyle, babyface, Avery Johnson, who's just looking mighty young with you could put on your Spurs jersey and go back out there, Avery.
I'm ready. Put me in the game, coach. I can play 10 minutes.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about some teams that could, in fact, win the title this season that are not the Thunder. Let's start with the Cavs. They finished 4th in the East last year. They were knocked out by the Pacers at the semis. NBA.com, I actually found this, ranked them as the #1 team this season for off-season moves. They now have Lonzo Ball. Tim, why could they make it?
Yeah, I'm high on Cleveland, Coach. I'll throw it over to you because this is a squad that had a great regular season, but then they got in the postseason, and injuries, Coach, really played a massive role for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Cleveland, I really like the addition, Amanda said it, with Lonzo Ball, because I'm a little bit concerned in the long run if they want to be a championship team about Darius Garland, especially defensively. So making a move for Lonzo Ball really shored up that backcourt. And as we've seen with teams like Indiana and OKC in the finals, you got to have quality depth, especially at the guard position. And I think Lonzo Ball is going to be tremendous for them. DeAndre Hunter, who they made a move for and brought him over from the Atlanta Hawks, was another tremendous addition. So I believe, with Indiana losing Halliburton, obviously their team has changed. They lost 2 starters, one with injury, one through free agency with Miles Turner. I'm not 100% sold on can the Knicks score enough points? Are they going to have enough depth? So I'm really high on Cleveland as the team that can possibly represent the Eastern Conference next year. Philadelphia, they're a crapshoot. We don't know what's going to happen with Joel Embiid. Obviously they have some quality players in depth there. Paul George, Tyrese Maxey is tremendous, but you don't know if they can stay healthy. But I believe if everybody can stay healthy, I believe Cleveland is the team to beat in the Eastern Conference.
Another team with a bright new star, the Houston Rockets. They now have Kevin Durant, part of that 7-team trade. Also brought in Dorian Finney-Smith, Clint Capella. Tim, they finished just at 500 last season, 41-41. Why do you think they can make such a big jump here?
Yeah, this is a team that won over 50 games last year, and ever since Ime Udoka has gone to Houston, he has completely transformed this franchise. There's Amen Thompson. I believe he's a future All-Star. Freddie VanVleet has won a title with the Raptors. He brings that experience. Şengün, I believe, is a perennial All-Star and basically a baby Jokic. They were missing one key piece. They were missing a closer. They were missing someone, Amanda, that at the end of the game, can you throw him the ball and can you go get a big boy bucket? Who did they go out and sign? One of the greatest scorers in the history of the NBA. This is an amazing fit. There was a show in the early 2000s called The Weakest Link. And I believe the woman was from some sort of international country. I don't remember. But she used to do something with her mouth and her nose when she would call out, like, you are the weakest link. This was the missing link. Like, this is exactly what they needed. Of all the things they needed someone who could score, someone who could close out games, and now they have the piece to the puzzle. The hammer. I've not been able to bring it out since the NBA Finals when I gave you the Oklahoma City Thunder, okay? The hammer is out here on the Houston Rockets to win the championship. You're getting almost 10-1 odds. I love those odds.
All right, so not only realistic, but we like the odds there. I like that, Tim Doyle. Let's stay in the state of Texas. Avery, no surprise here. You're going with your Dallas Mavericks. No more Luka, but by the way, Luka looking trim. That's a conversation for another day. We're going to talk about the Mavs right now. They do have Anthony Davis, Kyrie, Cooper Flag, first overall pick in the NBA draft. If they can stay healthy, Avery, do you really see a championship team here?
Yeah, if they can stay healthy, they'll be wealthy. I'm trying to rhyme. But with this team, if Kyrie can come back and play, 90% version of himself, this team, it can really be special. When you look at adding D'Angelo Russell, they had some other guys, Max Christie, come over in the trade. I actually played golf with Max Christie on Friday, but that's for another day. And then, Cooper Flag, man. You look at this team, the depth, and Brandon Williams coming off the bench. You can start Lively or Gafford. You can play big. You can play small. P.J. Washington could potentially be coming off the bench. And if you have a bench with P.J. Washington, Gafford coming off the bench, Max Christie, Brandon Williams, Najee Marshall, you're talking about a team that's 10 or 11 deep when healthy, and you have a couple of Hall of Famers that's in your starting lineup. So this team could really be special starting around February or March if they can just really keep all of the pieces together. I know there's a lot of question marks with Anthony Davis's help, but again, this team is healthy. They can beat the Oklahoma City Thunder and represent the West in the NBA Finals.
Okay, 2 quick follows. Where'd you play and did you beat them?
I played. I played at the most exclusive country club in Dallas.
Okay, very fancy there.
I didn't win. I played with Michael, and I played with Michael Finley.
Of course.
Got to give him some love.
Meanwhile, you and I are just living regular lives right now. Last team here, Tim, you're going with the Nuggets. I think that the only answer for the Nuggets to win, bring the Joker's horse to the States. Just bring him there. Put him in the back of the arena or something like that, and that's the answer. Why are you so big on the Nuggets?
Yeah, if you saw me at the racetrack, I was crying just like him, but it was for another reason. It's because I lost the mortgage payment that month. So it's a little bit different of a crying emotion for me. As for Avery's pick, man, Dallas, you talked about Philly being a wild card. I agree with him, but can Dallas put it all together this year? I don't know. I think Dallas should be the favorite next year, especially with Cooper a year under his belt. But Denver, you go back and look at last season, you could say, oh, they didn't get to the Western Conference Finals. It was a disappointment. Man, they gave OKC all they could handle in a 7-game series. And this guy is back, and he's still in the prime of his career. They went out, they brought back home Bruce Brown, who had his best years in Denver. Obviously, Jamal Murray is still there. They added Cam Johnson, said goodbye to Michael Porter Jr. I believe that's an upgrade. They added in Tim Hardaway Jr., who's a shooter that could spread the floor. But this guy didn't win the MVP last year, folks. And he finished in the top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists. And he averaged a triple-double. The reason why you have to take Denver seriously is because, do you remember, we'll go back in time to the Olympics. I know it feels like forever ago, but Serbia, led by Jokic and a very mediocre average roster, gave the United States all they could handle in the gold medal game in one of the best basketball games I ever watched, regardless of Olympics or basketball. So you still have Jokic and you still got pieces around him. Yes, the title goes through OKC. Houston's exciting. Cleveland's exciting. But at the end of the day, you cannot forget Nikola Jokic, still in the prime of his career. And I love the emotion. He cared more about the horse than I think he did winning an NBA championship.
Oh, literally, no doubt. Did not win when they won the title a couple years ago. Was ready to go home, didn't want to do the parade, and he is sobbing over that horse. You can fly horses overseas. I just Googled, so maybe we'll get on that for the Nuggets if you want to guarantee a championship for them. Guys, we appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll talk to you very soon. Taking a look at the odds to go ahead and win the NBA Finals. The Thunder, the reigning champs, still the favorite, though. But a lot of teams we just talked about, the Cavs, the Nuggets, the Rockets, all in the mix.